Hi, this is Graham Jeacocke. I remember watching. I think Alex was on the news and he was talking about his background, and he said he's come from poverty, and he glorifies that he's come from poverty. He worships the fact that, oh, he's made the transition, he's successful, he's going to be in the money. That's where he wants to be. He says, the poverty is in my past. There is no good that comes from poverty, so I am going to be rich. Very interesting, because when you criticize Jesus, you do realize that Jesus became poor. He gave up all his riches to become poor. Now, what did you say? Oh, that doesn't mean anything to me. That's very bizarre. You see, on the one hand, you glorify the transitions you've made. You see, in your eye, you do not want to associate with poverty. And by not associating with poverty, you cannot, therefore, have any emotional attachment to the people who are caught up in poverty. You can have a very superficial concern about poverty, but unless you become unless you become what poverty is for people, then you do not know how to be that human being that is implied when you read the word humanity, because you are ashamed of poverty. And if you are ashamed of poverty, you cannot help people. You see, there's a game in China, and it's glorifying money. And there was one, I don't know the rules, or it's just what the article related, and it was demonstrating that a contestant refused to shake the hand of a person who did not make so much money. I think it was 30,000. I can't, don't quote me on that, but it was a set amount, and he would refuse to shake hands because he was ashamed. You see, he gets his humanity from the wealth of an individual. Now, Alex Connor, where do you get your standard for humanity? Is it in your riches, or is it in your poverty? Because you cannot appeal to your past to say, oh, I am where I am. Because if you do not like your poverty, how can you say, oh, my poverty, I'm proud of my background? You're not proud of your background. You escaped your background. People are caught up in the background you escaped from. Now, Jesus went into the field that you escaped from. He dealt with the problem. You see, let me illustrate this. Let's imagine a mountain range, right? And you're on one mountain range and you're looking at another mountain range, and you look and you see there's people on the mountain range, or you see, take that back. You see forests, right? You see forests on the mountain range, and you look at the forests and you say, That's a good forest. But if you were to go and walk on the other mountain range that you were observing and look closer, you would see it wasn't as good as you think it was. Now, that's how you are going through life. You may acknowledge that poor people exist, but because you escaped from it, the more you escape from something, the less you are willing to associate with something. And unless you associate with something, you cannot help that thing. That's why when Peter, in the Garden of Gethsemane, took a sword or whatever it was and swiped the servant's ear off. Now, you say, oh, I don't want to associate with violence. You stay away from criminals. But unless you do what Jesus did and stick by Peter and discipline Peter with an alternative view, you become a student. You see, you are a student of, I don't know, philosophy or whatever course you're doing, because you seem to be jumping around wherever you want to go. Now, you're a student of that subject. Now, if you're trying to get people in this world to become better, then you have to spend time with that person. That's why people marry. If you want to make your love grow, I don't know, what's that name of that lyric of the song? Let the love grow. Is that Eric Clapton? Yeah, I think it is Eric Clapton. You have to spend time with people. If you want to offer hope to a poor person, you have to spend time with them. And you can't spend time with them if you're ashamed, because that is why you chose to be rich in this world. Anyway, as always, enjoy yourselves. Have fun.